Well,
Yeah, Bob.
The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Haven't played it yet.
Neither have I.
A lot to talk about the trailer and the resolution.
And
the
just
graphics.
the whole look of the game just isn't what we were promised, apparently.
So if you recall,
Yeah.
a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
made a video about resolution, the differences between Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Right.
On usually games that are cross-platform, they get down-resed for Xbox One.
Because it's the lower spec platform.
Kind of. It's harder to make it run better. So I
Right.
guess you could say it's lower spec. But
Right.
anyway, I mean, if you have a native Xbox One game,
Mm-hmm.
you can make it run just
Right,
as good as
yeah,
a
yeah.
PS4 game. But if you have one that's cross-platform, it's harder to do it. You can watch the video if you want to learn more about that. It's really
Yeah.
technical and
And kind of boring.
I'm not going into that.
So
But the PC version of The Witcher was down-resed to match the PS4 and Xbox One versions.
right. And this isn't the first time that this has happened.
But the trailers,
The trailers that were released were much more detailed, much more high res.
Yes.
This isn't the first time this has happened with gaming. This also happened back when Watch Dogs came out. There was this whole big to-do about how the very first trailer that was released for Watch Dogs was super detailed, super good looking, and then when it came out finally on all the next-gen consoles, the PC, it did not look as good as what was promised.
now they do that because they make the thing as they make it look as good as possible.
Yeah.
Of course, for the trailer they do that,
Right.
or the gameplay trailer, because they want to woo you. But they make it as nice as possible. And when it comes down to crunch time, or as they get farther along in the process, they realize it's not going to run well if they do it at
Yeah,
a high
so
resolution or a
have
high
to
frame rate.
They have to start cutting back certain things.
I just read that on Xbox One, The Witcher is switching between 900p and 1080p.
Yeah.
Which, I think it's super weird that they even use 900p.
Yeah.
A lot of games do that. The Watch Dogs also did that on Xbox One. But switching between the two is like a huge problem because you'll notice. You won't notice if it's running at if it's
running smoothly. Yeah.
I won't notice if a game's 900p.
Yeah.
It'll still look good to me.
Yeah.
But if it switches between 900 and 1080, I'll notice a big difference.
Yeah.
A bigger difference is frame rate.
Yeah.
Like with Battlefield Hardline, it switched between
60
and 30 like really quick, and that looked terrible.
Yeah.
It was very jarring. I also read, I can't find it now, so I hope I'm right, that The Witcher had a gameplay trailer that they claimed was an Xbox One gameplay trailer, but it actually turned out to be a PC.
That happens a lot more common than you think.
Yeah.
Well, they'll say like, this is on Xbox One.
There'll be like
really,
actual Xbox One footage.
Yeah. If it doesn't say that, then it definitely was. They could be lying to you. Most of the time, it's from PC. So.
Yeah. And of course, the PC version runs better. Well,
It's supposed to.
yeah, they apparently they down-res it to match the platforms.
Right now,
which is
apparently,
super weird.
CD Projekt Red is working on fixing it.
Yeah, they have a patch coming very soon.
Yeah,
I think it's out.
Oh, it might be out already.
I think they released it today.
So yeah, so just be on the lookout for that. They said they are continually working on the PC version of the game, so it'll eventually look as good as it did in the trailer. But I think this leads to another problem in we're being told the game is going to be one thing, but then when it comes out, it's something different.
Yeah.
We're being told that a game is going to look a certain way, then when it comes out, it looks worse than it was.
I mean, this game is still beautiful.
Yeah, the game's still beautiful, but I mean, Watch Dogs didn't look anything like the gameplay trailer. Aliens Colonial Marines looked nothing like the gameplay trailer that we were promised. That we were promised was in-game footage running in real time. Turned out that wasn't true. Yeah, it's just, is this going to be a trend now? Or
It definitely is. Definitely is going to be a trend.
Because that's
they just don't care anymore. Like they
that's
like,
awful though.
I mean, it's really really hard to make a AAA game.
Yeah, no,
especially when that runs nice on all platforms. But like,
and we get that.
They just don't care once they get towards crunch time. They're like, well, we just got to release it because they know they can make a patch.
But because then you're paying $60 for an unfinished game.
Yes.
And that should not be acceptable.
It's happening. We're doing it.
So, I mean, because we live in a world where people are more informed and more vocal than ever before because we have the internet. And, you know, they should know that. Like, if they put out a game that runs a certain way, that is promised to run a certain way and then winds up running the complete opposite of that, like, that's a problem.
A lot of people say, who cares what resolution it is or what frame rate it is?
Right.
It doesn't matter. The gameplay is what matters.
Right. Understandable.
But the argument with PS4 and Xbox One,
mm-hmm.
if the both systems are the same price, which they were when they launched, around.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they are still around the same.
Yeah,
price.
no, they're still.
But why wouldn't you want the one that's going to play games at a higher resolution? If a game... I don't mind a game running 30 frames per second instead of 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
As long as it is a consistent 30 frames per second. Yeah, it's
consistently smooth.
Yeah, I would rather, like, 60 frames per second, it looks nice, but, like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
It doesn't add anything to it for me.
Yeah.
But if it's dropping frames to 30 and then going back up, that's when I notice. That's a problem. If you have to cut frame rate, if you have to cut resolution to make the game perform better, that's totally cool with me.
Yeah.
Just keep it consistent.
It's not just resolution and frame rate, although that is important too. It's also detail.
Yes.
Because if you ask me, the detail is what is separating this gen from the last. Like if you look at like Call of Duty, like the Call of Duty games have been on both last gen and current gen, and the really only difference in them picture-wise is the amount of detail that's in there. Like on the PS4, you'll see like more scarring and pores on the guy's face than you will on the PS3. So what these developers are doing essentially with the trailers is they're releasing a super high fidelity trailer where you can see all the detail and stuff. And by the time the game comes out, a lot of that detail is gone. And so now a PS4 game winds up looking no different than a PS3 game.
That's another thing. Like back in the day, like the PS1 and I guess PS1 days, they would have pre-rendered cutscenes. The cutscenes would always look better.
Yeah, and the cutscenes would always be the trailer.
They were always obvious. Now you have Blur Studios making these like insane like 3D trailers, and they're not gameplay footage.
Well, though I guess because going back to the PS1 trailers that they always just come out, I for years never knew what like the Final Fantasy 7 and 8 like what they really looked like.
Yeah.
Like I always thought the cutscenes was what the game looked like.
No, because like Resident Evil 2, like those cutscenes were like so much better looking than the actual game.
Right.
And it was really obvious that that's not what you're gonna play.
Well, I didn't know that because I was like what 10 at the time, 11 at the time.
Well, like when you,
like I thought that's what the game was gonna look like, and then I didn't play those games until like years later, and I finally played it.
I'm saying now the line is like we're getting so close to that it is deceiving. Now it's deceiving. Yeah.
Back then it wasn't as
deceiving.
Careful marketing.
Yeah.
And if you're a stupid child like I was, you wouldn't know.
Because those trailers, they're not even in the game.
Right. It's just, I feel like they know that everybody is more vocal and opinionated and informed now than they were back in the day. Why even risk it? Why not?
Because they literally don't have any time to fix it.
Well, then why not release a lower spec, screenshot or trailer, and then like by the time the game comes out, work your way towards making the graphics more detailed.
They're overpromising. I mean,
that's I think a big,
because what if they can make them better then? That now your first impression is a low res.
Yeah,
spec.
I'd rather like start here and then go
but
here.
Some people would see that and say, "Why does this look like shit? Like, why isn't this 1080p?"
Well, you can make you can put a disclaimer.
You don't want you don't want people's first impression of your game being low quality.
I'm not saying it has to look like a PS1 game, but I mean, I just feel like if you start small and then work your way bigger, when the final game comes out, you know, the reaction is going to be a lot less harsh.
I don't think that's the way to do it. I think the way to do it is stop setting such high goals.
Right.
Like that's you have to. There's no way around releasing really high quality gameplay footage. There's no way around that because you need to show people the best stuff that you have. But you can set better, like more realistic expectations for your company, and put out a better product. You know, or all of these AAA games know that they're not going to hit that mark.
Right.
They know they're going to miss it.
Or you can just do what EA has been doing and just release trailers of the dev team talking about the game they're making and not show any footage. Just like a couple of doodles and it's like, yeah, we're really excited. We're making Battlefront, man. It's going to be good. I love Star Trek.
I am going to get The Witcher even though we don't like RPGs.
Right. I mean, it looks interesting. I might give it a shot.
But I'm going to get the PS4 version.
Right.
Even though the PC version looks better. I don't feel like setting that all up.
Yeah, we're not really PC gamers to begin with.
PS4, just pop the disc and it's ready to go. My PC, I gotta get a new hard drive because it's only a 90 gigabyte solid state, so I gotta get a bigger hard drive. I gotta make sure the graphics run good, and they might not because I haven't used it for gaming in forever. I gotta be at my desk, can't be on this couch, which is why I'm giving away a PC version of The Witcher.
What?
Because I got one. And I don't want it. I'd rather pay money for the PS4 version than figure out how to get it to work on my PC.
So, one of you lucky viewers will get it. How do you want to...
This is how we're going to do it.
Okay.
You're going to share this video on Twitter. And you're going to @ the Wulff Den. And you can write something snarky or whatever. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, there's not going to be a lot of people who are going to be part of this contest. Because they would have had to have watched this whole 10-minute long video. So you have a pretty good chance of getting yourself a copy of The Witcher. So @ the Wulff Den with a link to this video, and don't just @ us. It's got to be so people can see it.
Yeah.
I want people to see it. It's a promotional thing.
Should we throw in a hashtag in there, like #GimmeWitcher, just to?
All right, all right. A link to this video. #GimmeWitcher. You're gonna write it.
I'll write it down. Yeah.
All right.
And then make sure you @ us.
Oh yeah, @ the Wulff Den also because we don't have a lot of followers because we just made the Twitter.
Yeah,
so we need that too.
You know,
this is all promotion.
This is all shameless self-promotion.
Yes.
And our graphics will stay the same throughout.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
development.
Also like this video if you like it, subscribe if you really like it. Here's all of our other social media stuff.
Yeah. Reach out, let us know what you think about The Witcher and graphics and all that nonsense.
Yes. And we Twitch stream every Wednesday. So watch that. Thank you guys very much.
Have a good week. So last week, Archie Comics launched a Kickstarter to help drum up support for their upcoming relaunch of classic titles like Archie, Betty Veronica, and Jughead. Also last week, Archie canceled that Kickstarter amidst a whole bunch of backlash from the comic book community. Man, who would have thought that Archie would be the cause of internet controversy?
It's not enough to just throw in a female character or a good-looking dude. Mass Effect gave you the ability to play as FemShep or female shepherd, but only 18% of players actually did play as FemShep, and only 14% of players were female.